What role did Canada's Dr. Theresa Tam play in the newly uncovered World Health Organization flattery offensive meant to coax coronavirus information out of China? The Associated Press has obtained recordings of World Health Organization officials agreeing to publicly charm, flatter, and all-around butt-kiss the Chinese communists in an attempt to get Beijing to be more transparent about the coronavirus. This new report from the AP really does explain so much World Health Organization misinformation about the spread of the disease early on. They were willing to sacrifice the safety of the world in an obviously futile attempt to get the Chinese state officials to suddenly not be the totalitarian monsters we all know them to be. Just look at this in the Associated Press. World Health Organization officials were lauding China in public because they wanted to coax more information out of the government. The recordings obtained by the AP suggest. Privately, they complained in meetings the week of January 6th that China was not sharing enough data to assess how effectively the virus spread between people or what the risk it posed to the rest of the world, costing valuable time. We were going on very minimal information, said American epidemiologist Maria von Kerkhove, now the World Health Organization's technical lead for COVID-19, in one internal meeting. It's clearly not enough for you to do proper planning. The recordings suggest that rather than colluding with China, as Trump declared, the World Health Organization was itself kept in the dark as China gave it the minimal information required by law. However, the agency did try to portray China in the best light, likely as a means to secure more information. And World Health Organization experts genuinely thought Chinese scientists had done a very good job in detecting and decoding the virus, despite the lack of transparency from Chinese officials. In the second week of January, World Health Organization's Chief of Emergencies, Dr. Michael Ryan, told colleagues it was time to, quote, shift gears and apply more pressure on China, fearing a repeat of the outbreak of severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS, that started in China in 2002 and killed nearly 800 people worldwide. Now, despite what the AP would have you believe, that Trump was absolutely wrong about the World Health Organization colluding with China, this next part sounds a lot like colluding with China. Ryan said the best way to protect China from possible action by other countries was for the World Health Organization to do its own independent analysis with data from the Chinese government on whether the virus could easily spread between people. Ryan also noted that China was not cooperating in the same way some other countries had in the past. Did these World Health officials, tasked with keeping the world safe from a deadly virus, really think that sucking up to one of the most evil regimes on the face of the earth would be a good idea? That compliments and admiration would somehow convince the Chinese communists to stop being evil and secretive for a second? And did Canada's Dr. Theresa Tam, our Chief Public Health Officer, the head of the Public Health Agency of Canada, and one of just 7 people who sits on the Oversight Committee of the World Health Organization, knowingly participate in this flattery farce directed at China? She must have. She absolutely must have. How can we trust anything she says? Is she telling the truth today or sucking up to China as part of her job at the World Health Organization? And how are we to know the difference? Theresa Tam spoke using the full authority of the Canadian government to scold people wanting the borders closed to Chinese flights. She called them racist to feed some sort of reverse propaganda, reverse psychology technique. She said there was no person-to-person spread in China after her own officials warned her. There absolutely was. I can't believe these people are this stupid, but it's clear they absolutely are. For smart people with plenty of degrees and initials after their names, they are absolute idiots. And yet, there was one country who had all the information the World Health Organization was seeking. It's Taiwan. And yet, Taiwan is continually shut out at the World Health Organization because China doesn't recognize Taiwan as an independent country. As part of this World Health Organization charm offensive directed at China, Taiwan is completely discredited by the UN, despite being only 130 kilometers from mainland China, despite having sent their own researchers to Wuhan to get around the Chinese cone of seclusion, and despite being able to contain the disease successfully. The World Health Organization chose China over Taiwan. The World Health Organization was played. They played right into China's hands because China got all of these officials to praise the CCP and still screwed them out of information required to save lives in the rest of the world. China got exactly what it wanted, and we all got a disease inside our borders. President Donald Trump has done the right thing in withdrawing the United States from the World Health Organization, and China should follow suit right after we fire Dr. Theresa Tam for participating in a bizarre adulation performance meant to massage the feelings of the Chinese communists. To sign our petition calling on Canada to pull out of the unbelievably stupid World Health Organization, please go to whowantsout.com. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. The World Health Organization thought they could get information out of China by publicly praising the communists for their transparency. Have you ever heard of anything so ridiculous? Canada should have no part of this dangerous organization. To sign our petition calling on Canada to withdraw from the World Health Organization, please go to whowantsout.com.